Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your True Hill Phenom SP3. We are back once again with an exclusive interview for Tru Heels BTR Between the Ropes with Impact Wrestling's own digital media champion, Joe Hendry. Thank you so much for joining me, Joe.
Thanks for having me, Sid. Thank you.
Appreciate your time. You are getting ready for a huge show Friday, January 13th, Atlanta, Georgia. It is Impact Hard to Kill. You're going to be defending your digital media championship against probably your biggest challenge to date since coming back to Impact Wrestling, former Impact World Champion Moose. It's been getting a little bit personal between you guys, with Moose kind of sending messages to you through beatdowns, through other people, saying a couple of remarks to you. So how are you feeling heading into this big matchup? And do you feel like the pressure going against someone who has the resume of Moose?
So Moose is obviously a world-class athlete, but so am I. If you look at my Wikipedia page, like my amateur credentials are all there. So I believe that, neutralizes things from an athletic background. I would say I even have the advantage. He has the professional wrestling advantage, experience advantage, whereas I have the the grappling advantage. I believe he's a big, strong dude, but again, so am I. And that's why this match is so fun. Also, I think I have the mental advantage. I think I definitely got under his skin with my music video. I think that's better than his music. I think he should use it moving forward. But I'm excited for the challenge, and also I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time that the Impact Wrestling Digital Media Championship has been defended on the pay-per-view. So this one, we had to just go. Let's just go ahead and move it up. We had to move it up to the main show. So no, I'm very honored and privileged to be in that spot. It's something I've worked for 10 years for. And, to me, this is just, I had to get myself to a level of being undeniable in all aspects of the game, to get myself to this point. So I'm ready to go, and I'm very excited to show what I can do.
Like you said, you have a lot of experience. I know this October marks your 10-year anniversary since your debut in professional
Yeah.
wrestling, but you have such an extensive background in amateur wrestling as well. Talk about kind of like the transition from going to, being such an accomplished amateur wrestler going into the professional wrestling world.
Well, I actually started as a pro wrestler, and I was a pro wrestler for a couple of years, and then I got tired of losing every match, and then I just thought, well, I'll just put myself in a position where I can legitimately whip everyone. So, unfortunately for the roster, unless your name is Brock Lesnar, I feel pretty confident, I guess, against anybody.
Yeah, unless it's like the Brock Lesnar's of the world, and even then, I'm sorry, you're a big dude. I think you can handle that. I would have more confidence in you than anyone else out there. But
Hey, if the money was right, I'd fight Brock Lesnar. There you go. There's your headline.
there you go. But like you said,
100%.
You have such an interesting background because you also have that music background as well. And I think it's so amazing how you've been able to blend those two passions together with wrestling and your music. And it's made you kind of an undeniable digital media champion because of how viral your debut vignettes for Impact became. How surprised were you, or were you not surprised at all about how popular those vignettes? I believe in Joe Hendry. I literally have it in my head. I have a couple of contributors on our channel that watch Impact and that will randomly say it when we're watching something else because it just got so in people's heads. So were you surprised or not surprised by how popular it became?
So what's weird is I've had this song since 2019, and I remember at the time thinking like, okay, I've got something pretty good here. But it's only when I've brought it to Impact Wrestling that it's really exploded. And our ring announcer said to me, "Wait, you had that song before? Like, why didn't it get so over before?" I was like, "I don't know, man. I don't know." And to be honest with you, I think the only thing that I can put it down to is that now I feel like I'm a complete act, whereas in Ring of Honor, it's like the entrance music was there, but maybe I didn't know who I was in ring yet. I wasn't quite proper 250-pound heavyweight. I wasn't a cruiserweight. It was kind of that midpoint. For me, getting to this point, I just had to put it all together. Who is Joe Hendry? And when I started to figure that out, collaborating with the Impact Wrestling, the creative staff, I think has really brought that to the forefront and helped me become a complete act. It just feels like the perfect place for me to be. And the vignettes, if you think about the scene, like those vignettes, that takes a lot of trust to go to management and go, hey, I want to shoot this vignette where there's a guy in hospital with his family around him, and then I burst into the room, and then he flatlines, and everyone ignores the fact he's flatlining. And then in the next vignette, let's imply that I've like illegitimately fathered this child and blah, blah. Can you imagine me having to explain these 3 vignettes over the phone? But luckily for me, there's an element of trust, and Jimmy Jacobs was like, yeah, do your thing. Just do your thing. And it worked out. I'll be honest, I felt the vignettes were good, but I showed up to Bound for Glory, and I was saying to Robert, who's on our creative team, I was saying, look, man, he was like, I think people are going to be excited. And I was like, dude, no one here is going to know who I am, because I remember being at, I think it was WrestleCon, and maybe last year, I think it was, and how over you are based on how much you're getting recognized and stuff. Like when I was with What Culture, and I went to a wrestling convention, it was just getting stopped non-stop. But last year, before Impact, when I was at the convention, that wasn't happening. So I had an indication of like, okay, I need to reconnect to the American audience. And Robert's saying, yeah, I think they're going to be excited for you. And I was like, nah, they're not going to know who I am. And I walked out, and there were Joe Hendry signs on the ramp, and I was like, what? And like they're singing my song and stuff like that. And then the next night, it amplified another level. And then thankfully the momentum carried that through to Impact giving me a title shot. And here we are. It's been insane. It's been everything that I've worked for, everything that I've been asked for. For me, I'm doing my dream job in my dream company. And what percentage of people get to do that? So yeah, I'm very excited, and all I'm thinking about is how far can I push this? I want to be a draw for this company, and I want to move the needle for this company. And to me, it's about being the best. I just want to be the best. I want to be the most entertaining wrestler on the planet, and every day I'm working towards getting closer to that goal. It'll take me 5-10 years, whatever it is, but I will get there. And Impact Wrestling is the perfect platform for me to do that.
Now, you brought up previously, your time in Woke Culture Pro Wrestling, and that's when I first discovered you, and a lot of, the American audience discovered you. But I also remember a little stint that you did have previously in Impact Wrestling, I believe back in 2017, 2018. Can you kind of reflect on that and kind of tell us the difference between coming into Impact at that time to right now?
So here's the thing, like I feel it's very vindicating right now, because a lot of fans said, oh, Joe Hendry's first run in Impact was, it was a failure, and he didn't get over or whatever. But the truth is, like, I didn't have a visa, so I could only do shows that were Canada or Mexico. And Impact was taping in Canada, but then they moved to America, while I was there. So that was just kind of us naturally parting ways. It was just, and people say like, oh, his first run. It's like, I was there like 3 times. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was like, I don't think it was fair to judge it in that way. But I will tell you, when I showed up in Mexico and I saw it was going to be me versus Murder Clown, and I went through that table, I kind of knew, I was like, yeah, this is probably my last day for a while, And I will tell you, I remember they didn't, I must find the footage for this. I've been asking the production team for the footage for this. It got cut from TV, but I'm lying on the table, and Murder Clown goes to the top of the turnbuckle, and he goes as if he's going to do a splash, and he just like leaned forward and just timbered off the top rope and just flat on his face, like miles away from the table. And I'm sitting there, and I look over at Grado, and Grado's supposed to be, concerned for me, and he goes, ah, and starts bursting out laughing. So Murder Clown goes back to the top rope and then puts me through the table. So there you go. I need to get hold of that footage one day. But that was a funny highlight looking back. But the thing that has been cool about Impact, even in the old run, is that Scott was always very trusting of my creativity. So even back then, Scott and Jimmy, still then, in the exact same way as they did now, gave me the creative freedom. They would just say, look, let's have a video for the next show, and I'd be like, done, no problem. The difference is now I think I'm ready for the game and the whole aspect of it. At that point, that was very early in my career. I don't think I was ready to be a player for the company, you know. Whereas now, my goal is to be that talent that moves the needle, and I'm when I started, I got to a point where I said, right, all I'm going to do is focus on getting better in every aspect of this game and not worry about the results. I'll just become as good as I can possibly get and trust that good things will happen. And as soon as I made that mental switch, everything changed for me. You know, it's just been like this. So that'd be the thing I'd say to people. Professional wrestling. I mean, I've been in many creative industries. I know a lot of people in creative industries. I know songwriters, musicians, bands who are some of the most talented people that you could imagine who will not get close to being successful because of the way those industries are. I believe in wrestling that phrase, the cream rises to the top, is true. If you become that damn good, there's enough opportunities that you will be discovered. There's enough places to work right now. So for anybody wanting to do this, just become the absolute best you can be. Look at yourself and say, like, rank your look out of 10, rank your wrestling out of 10, rank your promos, rank your entrance music, rank everything out of 10. And if it's not a 10, well, then you got work to do. And that's the key. It never is a 10. It can never be perfect, but you just always try to get better. And ever since I've adopted that mentality, we've been off to the races. But I mean, it's a very exciting time because Hard to Kill is sold out. This is a big deal for us. This is in an iconic venue as well. We're going to Center Stage in Atlanta, sold out. And to be on that card and to contribute that and to be on, you know, the card with matches, you know, like we've got Josh defending the title against Bully Ray. And, you know, we've got Josh, who's now the longest reigning champion, and Bully is, you know, one of the biggest names in our industry. He's one of the best workers around that I can think of. You look at him, he knows how to get a reaction no matter where. He got over in WWE, obviously ECW. He got over in Ring of Honor. He's over as hell in Impact Wrestling. Always has been. He got over in Japan. Over everywhere. Like, so this is a huge matchup between Josh and Bully Ray. There's big consequences on the line here, because are we going to see Josh continue the longest reign, or are we going to see Impact go in a different direction right now? So I'm looking forward to that match. It's awesome to be on the card with that match as well. We've got, again, in a similar sort of situation, we've got Mickie James, who's one, you know, arguably the GOAT, the greatest of all time in her division, you know, against Jordynne Grace, who is like one of the biggest stars that we've got. Jordynne Grace is a huge star, and again, she's someone that is undeniable in every aspect. So, I mean, those are just a couple, and then, you know, you've got from like myself and Moose, you got two big heavyweights going at it. We're both very different acts, you know, in terms of how we wrestle and what we're all about. Like this, honestly, hey, I may be biased, but this is one of the best Impact Wrestling cards that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's stacked up and down. You mentioned the two big, main event matches for the knockouts and the Impact World Championship. You got a 4-way for the Impact World Tag Team Championships, X Division title with Trey Miguel and Black Taurus. From top to bottom, this show just feels like one of the bigger ones for Impact Wrestling. And you mentioned this is the first time the Digital Media Championship is going to be on the main card, going from, like, it's been on the pre-show for a couple of different events since it debuted as a championship, but the feud between you and Moose has thrust it into the main card. Like, how important is that, and what does that mean to you to elevate that championship into that position?
It means absolutely everything, because when you're fortunate enough for a company to say, right, we're passing you the ball, you better run with it. And it's weird. Like, there's a lot of pressure alongside that, but at the same time, I believe I'm world class at what I do right now. I believe when it comes to what I do and the act that I do, like, so anybody could copy my entrances or my music or whatever, but it wouldn't be the same. Like, whatever you call my act, I genuinely feel like I'm the best at it. And, you know, there's many people in the Impact roster who are the best at what they do. But for me to be in this position and to be someone that can work towards moving the deal for the company, if I can contribute to selling tickets, if I can, you know, to be in the position I'm in, that, like, honestly, we could sit here all day if I told you the ups and downs that I've been on in the last couple of years. You know, to go from losing my job at Ring of Honor, to maxing out my credit cards and my overdrafts, to pay for my own visa, to just on the potential of getting a contract with an organization like Impact Wrestling, to go to, if I look back there and look at the risk and the mental stress and the anguish and go, no, I genuinely, my act, I believe in Joe Hendry. It's like, I believe I have something to offer. And now to be in a position where Impact have put their faith in me, like it is on my shoulders to deliver now, and I love it. Like I love it because I'm ready for it, and I love the creative process. It's just, I will never not have gratitude for the position that I'm in, because all you can ask for is to get the opportunity, and not everybody gets that, So to get that opportunity, like it's go time. Like I want to hit the ground running, and I want to be that talent. That I want to be a I want to be a part of elevating Impact. How far can we take this? I want to compete with everybody.
And I think you are, and I kind of, like you said, keep making yourself better. I kind of have seen that from you towards the tail end of your time in Ring of Honor. In a lot of ways, to me, you brought out what I loved about Dalton Castle with that little alliance that you had with him and partnership with him. And then I felt like you were gaining momentum, and then the pandemic happened, and then you were able to be a part of the first Ring of Honor show in with Tony Khan led at Supercard of Honor, and kind of put a bow on your whole program with Dalton Castle. Kind of explain how that was, and being a part of that show. And was there any discussions about maybe doing more work for Ring of Honor moving forward after that?
So it's an interesting situation. Like, look, at Ring of Honor, we're very gracious towards the roster in that we all got paid our full salaries even when we were at home. So I got paid my full contract went for the amount of time that I was with Ring of Honor, and as a result, I have, I've got a mortgage, and I've got my car, and it's like, if it wasn't for Ring of Honor, I would not have a house. I have a house because of Ring of Honor, so it's the house that the Honor built, and it's like, I'll never not have gratitude for that. What I did is, I believe I have to do something. I don't like just getting money. I was like, I got to earn my money. So I started a show called Technique Tuesdays. I did other content. I did something called Making the Move Set. I was self-producing these shows from home, because I was like, well, if they do cut talent, maybe I'll stay on longer, because I'm making additional content for them to get up those content hours. So what happened was, when everybody got let go and there was Final Battle, the White House had made the decision that they were going to allow travel for a short period of time. And I phoned Greg, who was the general manager of Ring of Honor, who I have to say, by the way, was always cool to me, always straight up with me. I know there's like, heat online from various people, but like, I'll tell you, like, Greg was always kept to his word with me, and I thought he was a good guy. So I phoned him and I said, listen, all that extra content that I did, I'm cashing that in now. I'm cashing that in. And I'm asking, I want to be on that Final Battle pay-per-view. And he's like, all right, well, run it by Hunter. So I phoned the booking team and I said, listen, like, this is the situation. I want to be on Final Battle. I've done all this extra content. I want to cash that in. This is what I'm asking for. I've shown loyalty. I want something back. I want to perform at this show, and I knew I had to knock it out of the park. And I got through there, and I says, look, fly me in a week early, because I knew if the White House were going to change travel, they'd do it on a Monday. So I flew in, like, it was like 10 days early, and I quarantined in a hotel room for like 10 days, because I was, I don't care as long as I get in. And I got in the country, I quarantined, and thankfully, like, my COVID test was negative, and I went out there and I had one of the best performances of my career, and I genuinely believe that's what's led to this situation with Impact Wrestling. So I'll be honest, when I did that show, I thought Tony Khan was very cool. I thought he was. I was impressed that in his knowledge of not just his company in the business, but also what was going on the independent scene in the periphery. Like, he knew who I was, he knew what I was doing, he knew where the story needed to go. So I was very, like, taken aback by that. So that was awesome. But the fact is, like, Impact Wrestling is the perfect fit for me right now. And that's why I chose to go to Impact Wrestling. That it was the right move at the right time, I'm don't get me wrong, I'm very thankful to AEW and Ring of Honor for giving me those that opportunity there. But the Impact is the right move for me. And I'm very happy to be here. Very have a lot of gratitude for it. And I mean the team in the locker room, the roster that we've got, like it's the dream job, man. It's a dream job.
It really is just a perfect fit what you guys have created, you and Impact Wrestling. To kind of wrap things up here, you say you want to be a draw, be a top guy for Impact Wrestling. The top guy, you mentioned him earlier, is Josh Alexander, just accomplishing the longest reign Impact Wrestling world champion of all time. Is your goal at the end of the day, let's put it out in the open, is your goal to dethrone Josh Alexander, and do you want to be the guy who ends this magical run that he's been on since 2022?
So I'll be honest. One thing I've learned, one thing I've done in the past, which has hurt me, is by thinking about, oh, I've got to achieve this or win this belt or do this or do that, because that's up to Impact Wrestling to give me a title shot. Like, or I can elevate this title to the fact where people are going, ooh, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like that's my goal right now. What Impact Management told me is what we need from you right now is get reactions. That's what I was told. But before I started, they went and get reactions, and I was like, you got it. Because I went in and I said to them, I said exactly what I'm saying now, but wanted to be a top guy, and they were like, we get it. But to qualify for that, you got to go out there and get reactions. And so that's what my focus has been. I'm focusing on what I'm doing right now. But I will tell you this: me and Josh Alexander are polar opposites.
Yeah.
And if you look at the type of act he is and the type of act I am, that match is money, because we come from complete different perspectives and of what wrestling is and what it should be. Like, so from his perspective, he's going to go out there and he has these epic, hour-long matches that are match of the year with Mike Bailey. Whereas I want to get in there, powerbomb someone, through the ring, hit the standing ovation, get the W, and get to the back. It's like I want it like that. That's it. Like for me, it's about for him, it's about something completely different to how I see professional wrestling. And I think that if you put us in there, that's going to be an epic confrontation. But at the same time, I'm telling you now, I've been saying this since I was in Ring of Honor. I believe that me and Bully that's money. That is money right there, because Bully is, again, what I'm talking about, being a master of all aspects of the game. That's him. And I don't know if we've had someone that can go toe to toe with him on the mic like I can. So that's, if you give me the choice of where to go, that's what I'd be thinking about. You gotta call out, the biggest, baddest dude in the yard. And right now it's Josh and it's Bully. So I'm going to be watching that match. But like I say, that's me thinking long term. Right now, my concern is the Impact Wrestling Digital Media Championship. And this is the thing: when you have me and Moose competing for that title on the pay-per-view, we're elevating that title. So that's my goal right now.
And I am ready to see it, just like all the fans. Thank you so much, Joe, for your time. Please let the people know where they can find you on social media. And of course, one final big push for Impact Wrestling, Hard to Kill, this Friday, January 13th, from the center stage in Atlanta, Georgia.
So you can find me at Joe Hendry on most social media. I'm on Cameo now as well. Grab yourself a Cameo. But I will say this is a very exciting time for Impact Wrestling. This pay-per-view is sold out. We are in an iconic venue, such an important venue in the professional wrestling business. Look at the history of Center Stage in Atlanta, and we've sold it out for Hard to Kill on Friday the 13th. This is one of the best cards that I can ever remember being on Impact Wrestling, and everybody is going to be going in there to absolutely knock it out the park and show why Impact Wrestling is the best television wrestling product out there today. Grab it on Fight TV. I was going to say, or get your tickets live, but you can't because it's sold out. Get on to impactwrestling.com, check out our events, and get more tickets before they sell out. Also, come to the meet and greet as well. There you go.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Joe, for your time. Say hello to the child in the background. I saw the dog throughout it. I want to say
Yeah,
hi.
that's Gromit. That's Gromit. I will do.
And thank you so much to everyone for joining us for Tru Heels BTR Between the Ropes with Impact Wrestling digital media champion Joe Hendry. Go out of your way to watch Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill this Friday, January 13th. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. Drop the like on this video, share with your friends, and comment down below what you thought of this interview. For Joe Hendry, this has been Tru Heels BTR Between the Ropes. See you next time.